Hello, everyone. This is Ken Quigley from Keystroke. Thanks for joining us. We're really excited about the launch of several new products, the leading of which is Act4Outlook. For those that aren't aware, Act4Outlook is the top-selling Act add-on of all times. I did a quick report just before this meeting started, and we've sold almost 8,000 licenses to this. So tons of people have appreciated this program, which is why we're so excited about this significant new version that includes many, many customer requested features. And we want to thank you guys for joining us. We only announced this webinar on Monday, and we've had a ton of interest. So we're really glad that you guys were able to join us today. So the agenda is we're going to kick off with Act4Outlook, and that's going to be presented by our support manager, Michael Cadleb. And then I'll take the last two subjects. One is a significant rewrite to link to events and a new product release called Quick Meets. When we're done, we will open it up to Q&A on any of the subjects, but we'll also be showing you guys online how you can save 25% on Act4Outlook from now through to the end of the February. I'm going to provide an exclusive promo code, show you guys how to use it. You can buy one or as many as you like, and that discount code will apply to all of them. Okay, so look forward to showing you that. So before I hand it over to Lubs, as we call them, I just want to show you quickly if you go to act4work.com, it's going to resolve to downloads.act4work.com. But if you just go to act4work.com, okay, you're going to see every single program, including Act4Outlook, that you can download a trial of. You can also see the updated manual that we've made for this program. So you can download the trial here, download the manual here. If you have an existing version, uninstall it, but make sure that you make note to deactivate your license. So if you need to reinstall it, which we haven't had many cases of, but if you need to reinstall it, it will be available for reinstallation. And make note of that license key. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to make Michael our presenter. There you go, Michael. You got the screen?
Thanks, Ken. Let's see here. Is it showing my screen yet, Ken?
I'm not seeing it yet.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Should be up there now.
There we are. Good.
Okay.
People would be amazed to hear we did a dress rehearsal of this just last week. Cleveland. Okay, shameless self-promotion. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So as Ken mentioned, we're going to start out here with Act4Outlook version 7. I'm going to go through all the different settings we have in Act4Outlook, and I want to touch on all the settings in case we have some people here who are brand new to Act4Outlook. So I'm not just going to go over things that have changed, but just basically sort of every setting. So for those people who, like I said, are new, have never seen Act4Outlook or have not used it, any of the other previous versions yet, okay? But I will try to point out as well any of the newer features that we've added for those people who have currently used, whether it be version 6 or any of the previous versions as well, okay? So we're in Outlook right now, and I'm going to go through the settings. Once you install it, you'll see these buttons in the top right-hand corner of your Outlook screen, okay? We're going to have a Sync Now button, in which you'll see a little arrow there, and it allows you to sync either calendar and or contacts, and we'll actually go through that process once we go through the setup in a little bit here. We have sync settings, Act database settings, and Act4Outlook settings. So the first thing, once you get installed, you want to go to your Act4Outlook settings, and then choose your database that you want to integrate this with, okay? I already have mine inputted here, but basically you would hit the browse button here, the Eclipse button to browse to your database, choose your database, whether it be local and or network drive, input your username and password, click the login button to test it, and it'll either say login successful or some kind of an error message of your password or path cannot be found. So once that's good, we're going to choose our history recording options. So we have history type. We have several options here that we can choose from. This is your default type when you're sending an email. What's going to happen? It ranges from none, so no history as a default, down to attachment, including attachments. So if you have a PDF file on there, Word file, Excel, what have you, in your email that you're sending, that will also be included in the history when you send that. This history type, by default, it's email sent, but you can change it if you want. So you can hit the load button to load all your history types that you have in the database, and then click the drop down and choose whatever history type you want. So if you wanted something different, besides the default of email sent, you can certainly do so. And then when it gets sent, when the email gets sent, the history type will now say whatever you've chosen here as your default history type. Okay. Below there's some different check boxes as far as preferences. So the first one there is attach emails to ACT database users. Leaving that unchecked will not record any emails that you send among the users to each other within ACT. So that's usually a common thing that you don't want to, the emails you send amongst each other, you don't want to have those attached. But if you do have the option to check that. Make history private. So that a lot of times this is really good for, maybe somebody who might be the manager or president of the company, and their emails they send may want to be of a private matter. So they may want to have that checked so that when they send an email, it gets checked as private in the history, and only they have access to that particular history once it's in ACT. Down below here, this third one here, attach all sent messages, even if they are not sent from this machine. So this is a really great feature. What this allows you to do is to be able to send emails from another machine and or device. So that could be a computer at home, an iPad, an iPhone, any kind of tab, whatever device you have that connects to your email somehow. You send a message from there. Let's say you have this checked and you send a message from your iPhone in the evening or while you're traveling. The next day when you come back and open up your Outlook, it goes through your sent folders and looks for emails that were sent from other devices, and then records them into the ACT history. So it's really nice and neat to have all those messages from your other devices that you're sending from, sort of in one spot, instead of you having to have this set up on all different machines and worrying about emails you send from an iPad or iPhone not getting recorded. There's a change icon that'll put a little icon.
Any word of caution,
Sorry,
Michael? Any word of caution for that configuration?
Oh, the third one, yeah. So the only word of caution there is if you do have, now obviously an iPad and iPhone, you can't install this software on there, but let's say you may have a desktop at work and maybe a laptop at home or a laptop that you travel with. What you don't want to do is to have it installed on both machines and have that checked on both machines, because then what will happen is you send emails from your desktop, gets recorded. You send emails from your laptop, it gets recorded. And now your desktop is recording emails from your laptop, and the laptop's recording emails from your desktop. So it's a big cycle of chain, and now you have duplicate emails all over the place. So if you do have it in that sort of installation manner where you have multiple computers themselves, you don't want to have that checked on all those computers, just the one, sort of your main, I guess your main station as you would use it throughout the course of your working spot.
Excellent, thanks,
okay.
Labs.
Yep. This next icon here, the change icon, that'll put like a little green check mark next to the email, so that it'll show you any emails that were recorded in the history. So you can sort of quickly scan your inbox to see which ones were in there and maybe which ones were missed, because maybe the email address was not in ACT, so it's easy to see that way. Okay. And then below there, automatically attach incoming emails. So that's going to attach anything that's coming in, something that's sent to you. So I tell people to be careful with this one, because a lot of times people are all excited about this. Oh, I can attach all my incoming ones automatically. Well, yes, you can, but if you're the type of person that responds to, let's say, 80% of your emails, remember those emails you respond to, they're going to be attached, and it's going to include that incoming email that was sent to you. So just be careful with that. If you do respond to a lot of emails, there's really no use to have that checked automatically, because you're going to respond to it, and that's going to get attached as well. Otherwise, you're going to have the incoming email attached and the outgoing ones. You're going to have, once again, a lot of overload and a lot of duplicate emails in your history, so which can bloat the database. The next section here, we got history linking. These first two, pretty self-explanatory. You can link the any recorded emails to the associated either company and or opportunity. So if you have those checked, it's going to link to either one of those accordingly. Okay. So it's really great if you're sending a lot of quotes out via opportunities and you want those emails recorded on the actual opportunity record as well as the context. So this way, when you're looking at the opportunity, you can see all the emails that are linked to that. This next one, this is something we just added to this version, so it's really great. When sending emails, prompt to create a contact if not found in the database. So you're sending an email from Outlook. It's an email that's not in Act. You'll get a little pop-up window, and it's going to allow you to do one of a couple things: either create the contact, link the history to a different record. Maybe you're sending to somebody, but maybe you want to link it to their assistant or a coworker, or you could just skip it and you're like, this person is just a personal contact. I don't need to record their email, and just doesn't skip the email sending. It just skips the recording of that actual history. Okay, so that's something brand new we just added here. Down here below, excluded Outlook accounts. Okay, so this one right here, I only have one email account set up here, so it doesn't really come into play with myself in this particular instance. Where this would come into play is if you have multiple email accounts set up. So for example, you have your work email set up, and maybe you have a personal Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail account set up within your Outlook. And those emails, you don't want to have those recorded to Act for whatever reason. So you would have, obviously all the accounts would be listed here, so you would just check the box for the Gmail or Yahoo account. This way, when sending emails from that account, they don't get recorded into Act, even if that email address you're sending to is in Act. Okay. And then another exclusion here, so that's an account exclusion. Okay, that's going to exclude that whole account when you send from that email account. This is more of a domain exclusion. So this is saying when I send to a specific domain, it's not going to record the history for those domains. And I've just added a couple examples here at AOL.com or at Apple.com. Other examples you may want to do is, people at your own company. Okay, on that first page of history recording, we had to attach to users unchecked. But it's possible that you're working at a company where maybe only half of the company is using Act. So not everybody is an Act user that you're emailing to, but you don't want to record all the emails that you send inter-office. So you would put at whatever your domain is for your emails as an exclusion here. Okay. One thing I want to, for people who are using this, and if they ever run into any issues, okay, and they need to send it to us, the best thing to do is under the About menu, there's an option to view the logs. Okay, so if they go to About, View Logs, let me just show you what that pops up. Pops up their Windows Explorer window, and all they need to do is sort of just email us the last, I would say, 3 or 4 files that they have there, and that's going to allow us to sort of look into whatever the issue might be if they can't log in or it's not recording an email. The rare issues that pop up. This is the best way for us to analyze that without getting onto your computer and doing anything further. But this really gets us to the crux of the issue, and we can typically resolve it by looking at the log files. So we've made it very easy for you to get those files and send them to us. Skin selector, we've added this just for those people who just sort of like to have something different as far as their view. If they want to have something a different color, or they like the dark settings versus the light settings, they can do so. Okay, so that's just what that allows you to do there. Okay, just some examples. Okay, and now with any of these changes that you've made, okay, as you make the changes within your settings here, what you need to do, we've made a note of this too as well. Okay, note, changes to settings in this area require a restart of Outlook to take effect. So any kind of changes that you've made, for example, if originally you started out here as email subject, body, and attachments, and then down the road you change it to email subject and body, you need to save and close and then exit Outlook and come back in for those settings to take place. Okay, what people often would do is they would change that setting and then they would try to send a test email right away, and it wasn't working like they thought it was because those settings weren't saved correctly. Okay, so any settings you change here, make sure you save and close here, and then also close Outlook, reopen it back up, and then test to make sure everything's working as you have set things up there.
And we'll pop up a message as well indicating that you have to restart Outlook. So whenever you do, just like that.
There you go. Yep. So when you hit save and close, another message pops up just as a second reminder. Please restart Outlook to apply the changes. Okay. Now I haven't changed anything, so I'm not going to close it. I'm just going to go right through the next settings just to keep things moving here. Okay. So that was the setup as far as, pick your database, pick your history settings, and any exclusions you might have. Next thing we want to go over is the actual database settings as far as, what gets mapped, because we're going to talk about syncing in a little bit here as well. So I'm going to click on Act Database Settings. Okay. So on the left here is going to be the Outlook field. All right. And then on the right, or in the middle, I guess, is going to be the Act field that it can sync to. Okay. So you would just, if you need to sync it to something, you click the drop down here and choose the field that you want to sync it with. And then by default, the duplicate check is on email. If you want to change that to something else, you can, but I think email is usually the most unique thing between Act and Outlook as far as the when duplicate checking there. And then down below here, you have the option for that duplicate checking, what to do if a duplicate is found. Do not overwrite, overwrite if Act field is blank, or just overwrite the Act fields no matter what. So that's under Contact Field Mapping. Next, we have Activity Settings. And this is going to be your default activity setting. So you have the option when you get an email, if you right click on it and create activity from an email, this will be your default activity type that shows up. You can choose from any of your activity types. Even if you have custom activity types, they will show up here. Okay. This next box here, automatically show the create activity window when items are added to the calendar. That's really good. So if people send you a calendar invite via Outlook and you accept it, the Act scheduler automatically pops up for you to schedule an activity in Act with that date and time. Everything's already in there for that to happen. So that's really neat there. Always attach email to activity. That's something that we just added here as well. So that will, when you do the right click to create activity from create activity from email, that will actually attach the email right to the activity as well. So when you look in Act on the Details tab, there's that attachment field. The email will be part of that. And also any attachments with that email will be there as well, which is really nice. So if somebody sends you a PDF or Excel file, that email attachment will be there on that activity in Act for you to review when you go to that meeting. History settings. So for incoming emails, this will be your option to set what history type you want for the incoming ones. Remember on that history recording tab we were on a little bit ago, we set the outgoing default. This is the incoming type that you can set here as far as what type you want to have for incoming emails. And then one other contact exclusion setting, you can set it based upon a field value. So for example, I just set an example here. When last results, the value equals do not email. If you email anybody who has that value in their last results, the email itself will not record to their history. Okay. Same thing here. You want to save these changes and exit out of exit out of Outlook if you want to take those into control. Now, this next setting here, sync settings. This is something that is brand new to V7. So everything here is going to be brand new. Let's go into here. So you have the ability to sync both activities and or contacts. Okay. And each of these tabs will look very similar. So the first one here is the activity sync. You're going to have the ability to do an automatic sync. So if you check that, then it goes based upon this interval down here, whatever interval you set. Okay, from 5 minutes up to 24 hours. Your sync direction, Act to Outlook, Outlook to Act. Now the Outlook to Act is real nice because let's say somebody's brand new to Act and they have, they have no Act database because they're brand new to Act, but they've been keeping track of their contacts in Outlook for years. What they can do is create a database in Act, brand new database, no contacts, and then do an Outlook to Act sync. It brings over everything from Outlook over into their Act database. Okay. Then down here you choose as far as the date range, how far in the past you want to go, and then also how far into the future you want to go with the activities. Okay. There also is a manual sync here. If you don't want to do the automatic, there's a manual sync button here. And then also, as I showed earlier, there's a sync now button on the top there as well. Okay.
Just to pause for a moment, just to kind of point out the obvious. If you've got Gmail accounts or Office 365 accounts, and you've got those accounts on your mobile phone and that, by being able to sync your activities and your contacts from Act to Outlook, you're putting all those activities and contacts from Act into Outlook and then by extension to your mobile device. So you're going to suddenly have an extension of Act that you've never had before. So just wanted to point that out because these will provide updates, in this case, every 5 minutes. Go ahead, Lebs.
Yep, thanks, Ken. Contact sync, so very similar settings here. We have the automatic sync, the manual sync over here, the sync direction, the interval as well. And then one thing with, not a little different, but just something additional with the contact sync, for those people that have large databases, they may not want, 10,000 or 100,000 or 200,000, whatever they have in their database contacts going into their Outlook, so they can just do a group of contacts. They can create their own group in the Act, and then those groups will show up here, and then that specific group will then synchronize to Outlook, not the whole database. Okay. This option here, clear last sync date. So if they ever sort of want to do a refresh and just sync everything, they can click that. It's just going to send. It's going to send everything. Otherwise, it'll just send anything that's been edited in Act, from that point on. Okay. So if they want to sort of start from scratch, they can do that. This last tab here, this is great, but it's could be also a little dangerous because, and we have a warning there. This is going to clear your entire Outlook calendar and/or contacts. Okay. So now, why would you want to do this? Well, maybe you've been using Outlook to track this stuff, and you just know it's not going to say it's garbage, but you know that in Act is all your good stuff, all the good activities, all the good contacts. So you can just get rid of everything in Outlook and start from scratch and sync everything from Act. Now, what I would suggest, if you're going to do this, you may want to do like a backup of your Outlook file. You could back up your PSD file, and even a second thing you could do with contacts is you can create a subfolder of contacts and put all your contacts in there for the time being, because it only clears out the contacts in the main folder, not any of the subfolders of your Outlook. So that's one thing you can do there. Okay. Same thing here. Any changes you make here will require a restart of Outlook to take effect once you hit the save button. I've already done some changes before, and real quick here before we get to any Q&A, I just want to show you how everything syncs. But before you do that, I just want to show you there's nothing here in the contacts for Outlook, and the calendar is blank as well. Okay, so I'll just show you real quick the sync. We'll do the calendar first. Yes. And I only have a couple activities in there. That's why I really sync really quickly. You see this little status bar in the lower right. Go ahead and click OK there. And then we'll do the contacts. And I have about 200 records in there, and you just see it's telling you how many records are syncing. So it goes pretty quickly. I mean, 200 records in less than a minute. So let's go ahead and look at our calendar. Okay, so there's a couple activities in here now. Those all came from Act. Then if we go to our contacts, there's all the contacts in there. And let's just look up a person. Let's just say William somebody. Okay. And then it has all that person's information here. Okay. And that's Act4Outlook. So I just like to open the floor to any questions we have. Ken, do you have any questions coming in? Or
well, why don't we push to the end, because there may be some that,
okay, sure.
that accumulate. I'm just going to take the screen again.
Yeah.
Okay. And just to kind of show everyone here, we do have, if you go to keystroke.ca and click on blog, scroll down, we've got the announcement here on our blog of Act4Outlook 7. And then if you scroll down a little further, we've got the announcement from the previous week. And this really gives a breakdown of all the new features that we've added, if you want to review those after this. And I also want to remind everyone, we had a couple of people that joined late, that this event is recorded, and we'll be sending around a link to the recording afterwards to everyone that registered. Okay. Also, this is where you can buy it. If you go to shop and go to the, let's just go here, go to, you can see the promos here, okay, and then click on Outlook and e-marketing, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see Act4Outlook 7. Now, a couple of things here, you can review all the content, most of which Leb's just covered. You can review some of the compatibility informations. Obviously, this works for Act for Windows. Here's all the versions, which basically is 18 and forward. Here's the licensing type. Here's where you can also download, I showed you earlier, one place. Here's where you can download the trial and the setup instructions, and that's it. So you can go through there, and I will show you later how you can get a discount checking out with a promo code. Okay. So thank you, Lubs, for that. So what we're going to do is now we're going to shift gears and go over, I'm going to be doing a presentation on a product we've extensively overhauled called Link to Events. I'm just going to bring over here and kind of show you what the dashboard looks like. So here's Link to Events, and I basically scrubbed my my Link to Events folders, got rid of all the past events because we've elevated to the team edition. But you can see right here, this is the dashboard. Here was the trial that we did last week with just resellers, and here's today's event. So, and you can see that there were 78 people here registered. Before I drill in and show you what's behind all of this, I kind of want to explain what it is. So first of all, Link to Events is for people like financial professionals doing lunch and learns, anyone in the professional services business that are hosting an educational webinar, or basically anyone that sells products that want to promote their product launches or updates like we are doing today. We're announcing and doing showcasing a number of new products or new product updates. So this is where it's really useful. But what's the mechanics of it? What does it do? Well, first of all, when you create an activity, it automatically creates the activity in Act. So if I was to go here, okay, and this is all API driven, by the way. So if you're using Act Marketing Automation Basic or any of the paid tiers, you know what your API is. If you are hosted with either us or with Act, you know what the API is. Okay, and that's all you need. You need your database name, your login information to register for this. Okay, so this is a little bit slow on my side just because the internet in this office, we've been waiting 2 months to get it upgraded, so it's a little slow, but bear with me. Okay, so now it's popped open. Now I can give the event a name, the event a location. Now this is kind of important because the event location, what you guys got after, and this is kind of neat because everyone showed up today by signing up through Link to Events. So you kind of know that it works. So we put in the event location. That event location is the join link. No one's going to get that without signing up first. Okay, here's where you put the date and the time, you put the duration, the activity type, okay, and then you've got the import in settings. What this allows you to do is actually import in all the settings, all the descriptions, pretty much everything from a previous similar event, so you don't have to reproduce it, okay? Now, one of the big improvements is we've had people that say, well, look, I use Zoom, I use GoToMeeting. I don't want to have to, like, it would be nice to be able to import in all of those settings. Well, building integrations for every one of these services, it's all great, except there's always new ones. So what we did was we said link from an existing activity. Okay, now you notice that little delay when I clicked on new. The reason that it was delayed, not just because my internet's crappy, but the reason that it's there's a little bit of delay because it's actually connecting to my database, okay, and getting all this information. And here's an example of it. It's showing all the different types of activities that I can select, okay? Now, what it won't do, just a quick notice here, is that if you have recurring activities like a weekly meeting or a monthly event or something like that, we've had to configure Link to Events to look past those, because recurring events, recurring activities within Act can get really tricky to understand, you know, what's the first date, because the first date's initially when you've created it, and all the recurring dates kind of get confused through the API. So we've had to just say only one-off meetings. Okay, and then you can just kind of select that. And then the nice thing is if you have created an event. So I've got GoToMeeting. Okay, I create a GoToMeeting. I put in the location field, the GoToMeeting link, and I put in the descriptions under the details. When I select that and bring it in, it will automatically bring it in to the description. So I'm immediately saving time. I don't have to copy in any information, and I'm going to just pop this up again since I shouldn't have closed, and I can immediately save time by having that in there. So that was one of the things that we added, was the activity picker, so that there's less duplication of labor. Okay, now let me just say there's one other really, really cool thing about this. I mean, it's great that you guys all showed up. It's great that you guys responded, you went through this, but you know, there's real time and money savers to Link to Events. Reason is we are using a meeting service, okay? Now let me just bring this off screen and let me show you what I pay for a meeting service. So this is GoToMeeting that we use, and we pay, we've got the business service. So we've been doing this for a while, so we've got $26, okay? So $26, Zoom services range somewhere in that neighborhood from free to 20 some odd dollars. Those are meeting services. What's the difference? The meeting service is, where you know who's going to attend and you're sending them a join link, okay? Well, we invited you all, but we didn't know who was going to attend. So what we did is we published a sign up page and everyone got invited and you all signed up. And that's how we knew who would attend. So with a meeting, it's a very, very different kind of service. It doesn't have sign up pages. It doesn't give you any kind of attendance. You only know when they show up. So it's very, very difficult to plan around. So the webinar service, as you can see, a lot more expensive, okay? Provides that sign-up sheet, provides the little reminders so that you can optimize turnout, provides, extra little notices and things like that, and really provides you some intel in advance so you know exactly the turnout for your event and you can prepare accordingly, okay? So the meeting service, webinar service, very, very different in cost, okay? However, neither one, doesn't matter which you choose to spend, neither one integrates with Act. So let's see what Link to Events does. So Link to Events, let me just bring this screen back in. Link to Events bridges the gap between the meeting service and the webinar service. So instead of spending, $20 or spending, $200 a month, you can spend $20 a month and get all the services of the $200 service for an extra 10. Okay, so Link to Events costs $10 a month, but unlike GoToWebinar or any of the other webinar services, this is fully integrated into Act. So let's understand how. So the first thing, it creates the activity from here, or it selects it. That's an obvious integration. Pulls over the location, sets the event or whatever. Okay, sets the activity type, but it also creates instantly a group in your database, okay? It doesn't matter if the database is local or hosted, it's connected via the API, so it creates that instantly. So you create that data, it creates that group, and then every person that signs up gets added to the database if they haven't already been, if they're not already in the database, and then they get added to that group. They also get linked to the activity that you've created. So you've got, Act instantly organizing and kind of helping you follow up because all the people that have signed up are being neatly organized in Act for you, okay? Then what also it does is links to the activity, and it also has the ability to schedule lots of reminders for you. So you can set a reminder before, a reminder after, and the team edition also allows you to create like a drip email campaign to create even better. So I'm gonna just create, let's say Vic's retirement party, ongoing inside joke. I'm gonna say here, and I'm gonna say, let's make it February 11th on a Saturday, so there's no conflict. And I'm gonna say it's also pulling all my activity types, okay? And I'm going to just say testing, okay? Not gonna import the settings from anything, and I'm gonna click on create event. Okay, now when I create this event, it's instantly creating that activity in Act. So it's writing it to it so that everyone that signs up gets linked to that. It's also creating the group, okay? So now this is where we get into all the new functions, okay? So here we are, we've got the name, we've got the date, we've got the duration, all the stuff that we set, okay? Now we've also, one of the new things that we've got, by the way, see where it says add contacts to activity? We had to put this in because we discovered the hard way that if you've got a really, really great turnout of 150 or more, Act has a maximum capacity of 150 people that can be added to an activity. So if you think you're gonna have more than that, or you see the attendance is really climbing quickly, then you'll wanna clear this box so that you don't run into the screen throwing an error because it can't write to the database anymore, okay? So this is where you'd put in all the details, okay, of your event. You've got the full formatting, you can add pictures, you can even add a video to your event, okay? You guys remember what that looked like with the sign up. You can add a picture here that you can pull from your hard drive. And then upcoming events, we added this because we have an upcoming events page, which I published at the beginning. And then here's the event location. Okay, you saw me put that in here. That's going to be turned over to people or emailed to people when they sign up. Okay, it's not going to be presented immediately after as part of the answer page, because you don't want people using spoof emails. So the only people that are going to get this join link are people that are using a valid email. Okay, further resources that you've got for your event, things like document links. So if you want to have brochures or product details or anything like that relating to what they're going to be showcasing, then you can put that here. Information links, same kind of thing. This is something new we've added. Okay, one of the beauties of Linktivity is that there is a synergy between all the different programs. Okay, so that the different programs can actually reinforce each other. So I'm going to click on here. Now, if I don't have a Linktivity service, then I can select from someone else's, or I can use a custom link. Okay, but I'm going to use the personal organizer, and I'm going to say, click here to book a meeting with the event organizer. I'm going to click on save. And the moment I click on save, I've got the preview option. Okay, obviously I don't have anything here, but you can see I've got this link, and this will immediately bring me to my link to calendar, which people can click here and book a time with me. So if I'm using this, remember, this is all about lead generation. If I'm using this to generate leads, it's great that people can sign up for this event, but they can also book meetings with me if they have additional questions. Okay, so let's go back. So we've got most of this. I'm not going to put in any information here, but one of the things we added was the ability to customize all additional fields. So you can say, I want company, I want phone. I don't suggest address and city and things like that unless you know, there's a reason for it. And then you can just indicate here what is required. So I don't think putting in the company field as a required is advisable. Okay, and maybe even not even phone if it isn't something that you need to follow up on. Okay, now what you can see here is that this is 50%, 50%. So what that's going to take is half the page width. And I want to do this. I want to say, let's make this 50%. So we can make this very efficient. And I'm going to go here, say 50%. Okay. Now, if I click on save, I could see that it's already beginning to take shape and it's got a little bit more meat on the bones. Okay. Now, one of the things that you guys saw on the sign up form is I had a little checkbox that said, you know, click here to join our newsletter list. So what I did was I clicked on here, add field, okay, and then I just selected from our newsletter field, okay. I had a newsletter field. Oh, because it's text, I had to do checkbox. Okay, checkbox, and it filters here, newsletter. Okay, so if I want people to have the option, because this is all about lead generation, if I want people to have the option, I'm going to add this, go back to preview, and now anyone that clicks this will update their contact record that they want to be in the newsletter distribution group, and they can be added instantly this way. Okay, obviously we've got CAPTCHA because you don't want bots hitting this. And let's see, what else we can do is we can set the reminder. I want the reminder going out, say, let's say however many hours. I can put in whatever information here, same kind of editor, so I can format it however I like. And then afterwards, I can set a follow-up if I wanted to include where we normally store our links for the video recording, okay? And then we've got templates. So what we did with this one is we actually brought over some of the features of our Link to Forms program to allow people to really customize this to the nth degree. So by default, it's using the default one, and I'll just show you why you would use that one and where you might use a smaller one, like the compact one. Okay, if you go here and click on Contact Us, and you want to fit a form like a sign up page right here in a single column, then it would make sense to select the compact one. Why? Because here you're seeing all the field names that are on the outside, but if you went with this, they would be all on the inside and they would be formatted, each field would be formatted to be 100%. So it wouldn't try to lay it out on a full page width, but fit within a small narrow column. And then just to provide umpteen different layout options, you can go here and you can set the border width, color, background, accents of the submit buttons, type, color of fonts, you name it, everything that you can imagine to customize this. And so it's perfect to your liking. And you guys all signed up, so you know what that kind of page can look like. And that's it. Okay. So once all of that is done, people sign up, all of that information gets in. You see that you can automate the follow-up so that you can optimize your turnout, okay, create all the little nudges. And then we've got the ability with the team edition to also send out like full drip email campaigns. Now, one little thing I'm not able to demo for you today is that you're going to have the ability with the team edition to actually charge for your event. We've had this request a fair bit, and what you're going to do, and this will be available probably by the end of next week, where you can put in your PayPal information. You need a PayPal account. We don't support all payment providers at this stage, but you put in your PayPal account and it will actually process whatever you set as the admittance cost, and it will process it per registration. Now, obviously, product information and things like that isn't going to be appropriate, but there'll be a lot of events where people are, charging for, a speaking fee and things like that, where it would make a bit more sense, where people need to pay to get in. Okay. Well, now you can do that all within ACT. So link to events, the default cost is $10 a month. Not only are you saving by avoiding having to go to the webinar services, but now you've got many more formatting and right to act options. Okay, so we're really excited about that. And like I said at the beginning, this is kind of neat where I don't have to tell you it works because you're all here after signing up for it. So it's, the proof's in the pudding. Okay, so we've added lots of improvements on that, many of which I showed you. One little thing I'm going to show you that we've added, and it's going to be surfaced within this section here very shortly, and that's called a new product called Link to Shrink. Okay, and if you guys have ever seen any service like, I'm just going to edit this so you can see what it looks like, where basically you put in the destination address, okay? Now this could be a really, really long external address, or it can be one of the URL that you're getting from Link to Events. You see this is kind of a long, not terribly friendly name, okay? Well, if you put this in LinkedIn, or if you put this on Facebook, because it's really long, they'll often strip it out, okay? What happens with Link to Shrink is that you put in the destination and it will auto-generate a really short URL for you, okay? And then you can copy it, you can put it on the remarks, and we're gonna have detailed stats showing you how many people have clicked through it, so you know precisely how successful it's been. But it really allows you within the program to have that additional service. Now, anyone that signs up for the team edition will get the light version of Link to Shrink available within each of the programs, specifically Link to Calendar, Link to Events, and Link to Forms, where you can auto-generate a short URL for an event or a form that you're using as part of your promotions. Okay, so that's all the time I've got for Link to Events. We're just going to push questions to the end, and I'm going to just kind of jump into the last product that is a very, very different from anything that that I've seen on the market. But because we are ACT users, okay, just going to bring this onto screen. Very simple looking, okay, but wait until you see what it does. Because we are ACT users, we eat our own dog food. We like to build programs that make us more efficient. Okay, we've got 30 staff spread across 3 countries. And we are always having staff meetings, both internal and external, whether they're all hands-on staff meetings or support meetings or dev meetings or accounting meetings, whatever. I have to typically chair most of those. And what I was finding was that I would typically have 10 to 15 Word documents open at any given time, tracking old meetings, new meetings, and really not having a terribly good way of organizing them. Okay, so I went to our development team and I said, look, I need something that not only organizes my meetings, not only allows me to send out invites and keep track of them, but allows me to track follow-ups and people that attended. Okay, so here is you can see that I've created all these different topics or different types. Okay, so accounts receivable, BPAC, board meetings, handheld contacts. I've set up all these so I can organize each one of them. If I go to staff meetings, you can see I've got a bunch of staff meetings that are organized. Okay, but this one, what I've done is I've actually created one called webinar. Okay, now I can click on plus, but watch the other options. I'm going to just open this, click on here. Okay, and this is what I've got. I can set the date, I can set the time, I can set the hour, okay, the priority, the time of the event, who is the presenter, and then I just add topics on this side, same formatting options. And when I go back to save, I can click on send to Act. And this particular activity will be transferred to Act along with all the people that are attending. Okay, now how do I know who's attending? Well, if I click on this little ellipsis, it's going to immediately have access to my user list and as well as past external people that I've added, and I can add them all over, or I can send them over individually. Okay, and then when I click on here, they show up here. Now, if I need to access people that are not on that list, I need to access the rest of the database. I can click on here, type in their name, last name, first name, both, and it will automatically find them in Act. I select it and they get added. Okay, I can also create a new contact. And this works, by the way, like many of our new products, works in both local databases and hosted databases. So it works through what's called the SDK, so it connects to the local database, or through the API, and it can connect remote. So you don't even need Act installed in your computer, and you can still access all this information and send and receive from Act. Okay, so now I've got this, and I've prepared all of this, and I've created all these different sections. Okay, and you can see here, just for today, I'm the presenter. I took 5 minutes for the intro, put in 20 minutes for Michael Cadlub to do his Act4Outlook. You saw my 20 minutes for link to events. I'm the presenter, okay? And then we've got quick meets, which is what we're doing right now, okay? Now, if anything arises during the meeting that requires follow-up, okay, because I can only say what the agenda is. I don't know what the minutes are going to be until the meeting's over. I can click on here and I can assign tasks to one or more people. I can say when it's due by. I can put in the notes, okay, save, and that becomes part of the follow-ups for that section, okay? What does that look like? So right now, I'm going to click on save and close, and I want to see quickly what these minutes look like. It immediately generates these minutes, okay? I can see who's the presenter for each one. I can see follow-ups for each one, okay? And I can see, and then distributing these becomes really easy. All I've got to do is click here, click on send, and it immediately gets distributed as a PDF. So if I'm organizing a meeting and I want to send out the minutes afterwards, it literally takes me about 2 or 3 clicks, and that's it. And then it's gone and it's emailed out because all your email settings are in here. So this becomes really, really super powerful for me organizing, because as you can see, I don't have to keep 15 different things open anymore. Had a meeting here this morning. Okay, default, I don't really keep things in default, but BPAC, board meetings, development meetings, all of these things are organized in their own little cabinet. Okay, here's sales meetings. I can immediately go through all of these. Now, here's a time saver. As you can see, all these sales meetings, a lot of them are going to have the same structure and the same participants. I don't really want to be populating the same people in each and every single one of them. So watch what I can do. I can right click, say clone a meeting and say bring over the notes. And this one I'm going to say is going to be on the 26th. And now I've got the meeting, I've got old business, new business, I've got all the people that are participated, and I'm ready to put in my own notes. The reason that this is nice is I can take some of the old business, copy it over into the new business for this meeting, and immediately save some time, okay? All I gotta do is adjust it for the new date, okay? And when I save it, I can send it over to Act so it's there, okay? Now, let's say there's someone that I want to attend this that isn't on this list. I can right click and send them an Outlook invite. Okay, so I've got the ability to invite people. I've got the ability to grab quickly from the user list. I got the ability to create contacts in Act. I've got the ability to search for any contact in Act or multiple contacts in Act and add them all. This is why it's really beautiful for internal and external meetings and just keeping yourself organized. What I like is with 30 people and multiple meetings during a week, it's really, really hard to organize all of these different department meetings and hold people accountable for follow-ups without being able to document this and send it out immediately afterwards so that they not only know what was said, but what expectations there are for each participant. Okay, so this is a new program called Quick Meets. We're really excited about it. This is one of those cases where I'm going to tell you, even if we don't sell a single license, which obviously already isn't the case, but even if we didn't sell a single license, this has saved so much time for each of the department heads organizing their own internal meetings, and me organizing not only internal but external meetings. It has been worth it. I don't have 15 documents open anymore. I don't have scattered files all over the place that are both saved and named and unsaved. Everything is organized here, categorized here. I can very efficiently add people, okay, invite people and hold people accountable, none of which was available previously with my morass of Word documents, okay? So what does this program cost? Let me just go over here. Okay, and sorry, here, Quick Meets. Okay, so Quick Meets is $99.95. It is a one-time cost, okay? But here's something that I'm gonna show you that's kind of neat, that doesn't exist with Word and all these other things, is you see this linktivity thing? This all ties back together into linktivity. If you buy two of these, as I've got this installed on my home computer and at my office computer, I can actually, early in the morning, prepare all my notes for a new meeting that day, okay? Click on sync, and it will sync through our linktivity servers, and so that when I get into the office, I can click sync and it will sync the information just like it would with Handheld Contact or Act, and then I would have all this new information here that I made notes of away from the office. Okay, so then I can just come into the office and complete my notes and I'm good to go, and I've made maximum use of my time and really kind of can log whatever ideas I've got for the day, okay, off-site, and prepare them for final completion at the office. Okay, so that's the final product we wanted to show. Before we get into the Q&A, I want to just show you guys one quick thing here. As promised, all of you guys were invited as past Act4Outlook users. So what I'm going to show you here is click on Outlook and eMarketing, scroll down, click on Act4Outlook version 7. Now we're going to add to cart. As you can see, it's $39.95. We're going to proceed to checkout. Okay, and I'm going to type in upgrade me, no spaces. Click on add, and it's immediately going to take off $10.49, okay? Basically 25%. This coupon code is available from now through to the end of February, and then it will just automatically stop. So if you want to upgrade after what you've seen with Lubs, you want to upgrade your program, regardless, this is all backwards compatible, so it supports the same versions of Office, the same versions of Act. both businesses of Act and both businesses of Office, you're really getting all the advantages, and now never been a better time to upgrade with this. Once February has passed, then anyone that that wants to buy it, regardless of past purchases, will have to pay the full $39.95. Okay. So that's what we've got for our topic presentations. Let me just see here. Susan has asked, can you use Act4Outlook on either Office Outlook 365 or Microsoft Office 2021? Susan, all it's got to be is installed. Okay, so if you've got either version and it's installed, then Act4Outlook will work with it. If you've got the browser-based version or the web-based version of either one of these, then it will not work with it. That's the only consideration. Okay, let me just review any of the other questions. For those that are not aware, someone asked me what the presenter's name, Michael Cadleb, our support manager. Okay, and I think that is it. It looks like we're gonna. Okay, perfect. So lots of the rest were really positive comments. So excellent. So with that, then we're at 1:56. I can't believe we came in under time, but we'll be respectful of everyone's time. Thank you very much for registering for this event. We're really excited about all three products we showed you today. And we're going to continue. You're going to see, as all of you guys are on our distribution list, you'll continue to see us using it moving forward. So please, if you love the Act4Outlook, be sure to take advantage of this time-limited offer from now until the end of February. Doesn't matter how many quantities, the same 25% applies to however much you purchase. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. Have a great day, and we will distribute the recording link afterwards. Take care.